Now, before we continue, what I want you to do is, on a sheet of paper, because I don't want you lying to yourself, write down what do you think the right thing to do in this situation is. You're the trolley driver. You could go straight, continue going straight, maybe keep on pumping the brakes, but you know it's not going to stop, but you still try. Or you can turn. If you go straight, you know 5 people are going to die. If you turn, 1 person is going to die. So what is the right thing for you as the driver of the trolley in that situation to do? Okay, but let's go on and take a look. I bring you to Harvard because I want you to see what a class at Harvard looks like. Most of you are students of mine at Kingsborough. You see that at Harvard they seem to have a pretty large class, probably about 700 or 800 people in this class. Usually in our classes, well, in our class, we have 25. On an online class, writing intensive has 25. We have 40. In fact, I've had some students ask me, how do they grade things? How do they take attendance? And they managed to do it. They managed to do both of those things. But the important thing is let's get back to the material because we're dealing with this moral problem. So let's move on and see where Professor Sandel is going with this.
Let's take a poll. How many would turn the trolley car onto the side track? Raise your hands. How many wouldn't? How many would go straight ahead? Keep your hands up, those of you who would go straight ahead.
Okay, let me ask you. You noticed the majority of people would turn here at Harvard. Were you thinking, well, what would the majority of people do here at Kingsborough? And we're going to find out about that because I'm going to ask you on a discussion forum to actually answer that question. But I also want you to think about the next question that Professor Sandel is going to ask the Harvard students, and I want to get your opinions on it. But notice the majority at Harvard said the right thing to do was to turn. The minority, I'd say it's probably 90-10, maybe even a little bit more than 80-20, certainly. 80% of the people were turning, only 20% of the people weren't. And ask yourself, do you think it would be different at Kingsborough? Would you get, if we were in class, would you get a different number of students? And I'll tell you, that's the breakdown that we usually get. But now is the important thing. If you've already taken a side on this, in general, don't try to change it for the discussion forum. But what I want you to do now is think about the following.
A handful of people would. The vast majority would turn. Let's hear first. Now we need to begin to investigate the reasons why you think it's the right thing to do. Let's begin with those in the majority who would turn to go.
Okay, that's where he's going to go. Here's the question. What I want you guys to do at this point is I'm going to end the video, this segment of the video in a second, but let us go over to Blackboard. And you see in Blackboard, I have this moral dilemma about the trolley example. We'll have another one about what to do, but let me take you over to the discussion so you see where we're going this. We have a discussion forum, haven't made it available yet, but will shortly, in which I'm asking you a series of questions about this example and the next example that we're going to get to. You see, and the first, then we have one you've already answered. How many questions did Professor Sandel ask? The second one is what the right thing to, or we have two ways. The right thing to do is to turn the trolley because, so if you've chosen that the right thing to do is to turn, what I want you to do is explain why you thought that that was the right answer. And then we're going to turn to, if you didn't, I want you to go over to 2B, click on that one, and make a posting of why you thought that the right thing to do was not to turn the trolley.